pleasure to introduce Joel Zimmerman, aka deadmau5, world-renowned electronic music producer, and I would even say technologist at this point. You're getting really deep in the tech, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, I've always kind of dabbled in and out, but now obviously having a lot of free time at home, I've just gone full tilt software development in terms of real-time graphics.
And for folks that don't know, like you've been going pretty deep into TouchDesigner. I mean, you've been doing Twitch streams of building TouchDesigner stuff. You built most of your show, the latest one, inside of TouchDesigner. Like I would consider you a full-on TouchDesigner developer too.
I think so, and thank you for that. It's basically 3 years ago. I remember approaching Greg and some fellas at the TD office saying, "Look, here I have this kind of problem, if you will, and we need a one-stop solution in terms of delivering real-time graphics to this stage." And I Touch Designer's always been on my radar, but like it's having to tour and do music and this and that, it's just kind of whatever. But when it came down to look, this for you want, so you're gonna have to learn it yourself, and that's when I touched base with Malcolm and Greg and all you fine folk, and just began tooling away to something that was presentable, and now it's full deployment in the show. So it's been really awesome system to work in.
Well, congratulations. I think that's like pretty inspirational for a lot of folks out there who think maybe that learning curve is too steep. And yeah, it does take a bit of grit, I think, to get through some of the beginning stages. But I think you're kind of a shining example of anyone who's got the patience, time, energy to put into it, and a little bit of smarts, obviously. But you can make some great stuff happen.
Yeah, but the good thing is I'm not inherently a software developer, or I pre-knew all this existing stuff. The curve was steep for maybe the first 4 or 5 months, but after that, it's like if I hate to say it, but if I can do it, anyone could do it. But it's true. Once you get past the fundamentals of just the way that the nodes work in TouchDesigner in terms of the tops and stops and stuff like that, and then you start to integrate that in with like minimal entry Python knowledge, then you're good to go.
Curious who the favorite artists are going to be. So we've asked each one of the artists to keep a reference on screen of kind of who they're going to be trying to mimic here. Oh, we've even got a Dr. Seuss one, it looks like.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, we've got Dawes. Looks like he's setting up Ableton, so maybe he's going to have some audio in the background. I think this one's going to shape up to be an interesting one. So I guess here's a question for you, Joel. Like, if you could pick your most comfortable and favorite operator family, what would it be?
Well, lately I've been getting into basically rendering surface operators. I love that stuff, like converting 2D images into a matrix of SOPs and stuff like that, and having it push and pull, kind of giving a 3D look in and out of an image. I've been a big fan of that, and now with the new kind of particle systems in place in TD now, that's a lot more achievable for having million plus point clouds that run within reasonable FPS is a pretty cool thing that hopefully I'm excited to see some of that.
Oh, I was just going to echo that. I'm also just loving all of the stuff that's happening in the point cloud land these days. There are a few handy little pieces inside of the palette that are all about manipulating point clouds, which are some of I think the lesser known goodies in the palette for creating fields, transforming points around, all the kinds of things that you want to be able to do.
I'd have to say, this is going to be a nerdy answer, but chops might be it for me. I love shuffling. Is that does that make me some
Every day
kind
you're
of
shuffling?
Is that a kink of some sort to love the chop shuffling? Like, I don't know many other people who are down with chop shuffling, but so powerful.
I'm not going to kink shame you, Elbers. If the chop shuffle's where it's at for you, you just get it.
Yeah, but in terms of optimization, I like to go the top processing route because shuffling and all that stuff too is good and great, but if you start unloading too much stuff to your CPU, things get a little scary.
Absolutely, yeah. Tops are the scaling way of the future, I think, and I always imagine that we'll come back and look at old versions of TouchDesigner in a few years and wonder why any math is happening in shops on the CPU. We'll be like, why did we do that? We have GPUs, they can do everything. We'll have logic tops and limit tops and all kinds of stuff that we have the chop version of, and we'll have the top version that'll be even easier.
All right, all right, all right. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff happening. There's Refik down there already. Oh, Ginger's gonna go for some Ikeda. That seems like a very Ginger kind
Oh,
of
I love that artist.
aesthetic.
Kind of sadly disappointed there's no Mondrian.
I know.
But I guess Paquetta's not here, so.
And it looks like actually Dan Kenny here is using Stanley Kubrick as a reference example, which is pretty cool, like a 2001 monolith situation here.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Looks like he's got a nice skybox. Yeah, I'm curious to see where he takes this one.
What? Oh, interesting. David's got a Paul Sinak reference down over there.
Oh, nice. That is a beautiful piece.
Okay. This is really interesting. There's I went like on a whole GLSL rabbit hole journey one time to try and understand the right way to do painterly style filters. And there's a lot that you can do there, but boy golly, is it a...
It actually looks like Vincent's doing something really interesting. I don't know if it's audio driven or if he's just generating some noise and then doing a kind of interesting trail with it. I believe it is noise based.
Is that looks like that might be either a spectrum component that he's built.
Oh, that's really cool.
This is like one of my favorite tricks for getting a sound trail over time is, just putting that as one line of pixels, sticking at the bottom, transforming it up 1 pixel or right 1 pixel, and then treating that as a feedback loop. And then all of a sudden you've got this beautiful set of trails from your audio analysis.
Yeah, that's really nice. I'm liking the color scheme as well that's happening with it. Oh, and he's using the op shortcuts. Bonus points for some good Python there.
Huh.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I love that Polyhop has got this great like illusion that's happening with the rotation of his object over there. Like this nice swap
is really interesting.
One object to the next.
Oh, what? Oh, that's clever.
Oh, that is some that. And for folks that don't know, Simon, aka Polyhop, does dailies, and I think Matthew, we were talking about this earlier. He's almost at 3 years of dailies at this point on his Instagram.
He's done, yeah. He's a machine. This bloke.
Is he doing heavy math, or is he just switching right at that rotation axis? He's switching.
I think he's either switching or, the other good trick I've used here before is the blend sop. Because the blend sop is relatively cheap compared to some other surface operators. And as long as you have the same number of vertices, you can blend between two objects really quickly.
But I don't think he does in this case because it's like a ring with many and then a square with fewer, or the square has many.
Right, they're just smushed into a rectangle.
Yeah.
It's a clever trick though.
And actually, let's zoom into Lucas here and see what he's going on. He's got some really interesting kind of 3D scene.
It's like Dark Souls.
With the it's Dark Souls with the saxophone.
With the
dark
my new
saxophones.
favorite game. Yeah. Saxophone soul here. Interesting. So I'm curious what the reference is. It's got some nice, it looks like he's already got the PBRs in there, some nice lighting.
Yeah, nice look on the floor. Good detailing.
And what I really like is his palette. Look at all the really nice tools he's kind of made for himself, has ready to go on the fly. Lots of lights, lots of bases with little effects in them, environments.
He's got that
that's
fancy
what we're going
column.
to see a lot more in TouchDesigner. Mamo here looks like he's going with a more typographic effect, which is pretty interesting too, if we can zoom in on that one. Yeah, what's he got going on? It looks like he's caching a bunch of characters, yeah, into a text 3D.
Mm.
It also looks like he has a projector that is pointing at his head, his own network, which I'd like to have a bonus point for that, because that's dedication to the competition there. You know?
That's how I work. I mean,
yeah. That's awesome.
It's easy to take for granted how bright those projectors can be, especially when they're shining right at you. I always felt
warm
bad.
too, right?
Oh, jeez.
ugh, that's why I face away from the light rig during a show.
Yeah.
Our LD loves to
something,
flash those GLPs. I see some
you got a
corporate
mean
branding
LD.
in there.
Yeah. Yeah, Microsoft Windows, is that what's... Why do they call Microsoft Windows? I don't really know why they call it. I hope there's like a good punchline for this joke. Does that look like, is there some pixel sorting going on? That one's going to come out interesting, I think. And what have we got? What's
Ori
Ori
up
doing
to
here?
there? Yeah, a
Yeah,
little
he's got
hamster
some like
wheel.
Myth of Sisyphus style.
Right.
Me getting out of bed.
Yeah.
What are our
Interesting, I'm
references
curious.
here? The references are from a car commercial, maybe? It's like
It looks kind of
almost...
techy.
It's like techie, starry, nighty, almost.
Oh, and what's interesting is it looks like there's audio. I can see like a waveform in there.
Yeah.
And then that waveform, like you were saying, it's getting fed back and being used to deform the geometry. So almost like the hamster wheel is audio responsive. That's cool.
Is that a Alembic import of this thing?
I'm not quite
I
sure.
wonder?
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
yeah.
It looks like
It's a series of
oh yeah.
chops.
Oh sorry. Yeah. No. Sorry. The person. Yeah. The person must be some kind of import. I thought you meant the little tube he's in. I'd be curious if maybe it's USD or USDZ. I've had a lot of good
I
experience
experimented with that in the
protocol.
past, and I got mixed results between using, like an animated BX or.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious to see how that kind of develops in our community, just like the USD and USDZ, because I know
Right.
FBX sometimes can get a little bit dense and things come over a little bit strange sometimes. Oh, and actually, let's see if we can zoom into Simone here. I think he's doing like a 3D kind of inspiration of a Van Gogh.
Oh,
yeah,
curious.
Starry
That would
Night.
be interesting. That would be really cool if we had like a 3D version of Starry Night.
Or the Scream. I'm indifferent.
Yeah. It looks like Veland's got some cool stuff going on here, and you might know him as Alpha Moonbase on the Discord and on the forums, but I don't know if the reference is Silent Hill, but that's the kind of, I'm getting like a Silent Hill Castle kind of vibe going on here. So I'm curious to see what he's working on. It's definitely some nice compositing.
Ginger Lee has the Ikeda thing shaping up pretty nice.
Oh yeah, we can keep cycling through and see, because now the cool thing with Ginger is something she was using also in the last round was she has like this LED curtain behind her, and she was using that I think for most of the challenges last time, which was a really like smart and interesting thing to kind of bring to the table.
I think it's kind of running on its own in the back there. It's really project related, but
Oh, this one's not project related. Oh wow, yeah, that's really nice. That is a nice piece right there.
Well done, Ginger.
And it looks like it's feeding or talking to her synth setup there.
yeah.
Output of visuals is sending MIDI notes to modular synths.
Oh,
I love
CV
notes.
tools in TouchDesigner would be a godsend.
So it looks like
What
a lot
is
of these pieces are
Michael
starting to shape
doing
up.
over here?
Yeah,
Michael's
let's
got
make a
this
zoom
great
in on Michael.
transition and a spinning motion where, it's like a night to
that's
day.
awesome. The day to night cycle. That's awesome. Oh, and the little boat comes up. That is adorable. And
I
that's a
like how
really
it's
nice.
all
I
done
really
in
like.
3D.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say, like the shading came out really, like a really good homage to the kind of reference, right? Like it's flat, but still has that idea of like depth to it. That's really nice. Oh, and this actually, maybe we can zoom into Owen's here. He's got a interesting thing going on, and Owen does a lot of really cool like DSP and synth building inside of TouchDesigner, which is pretty unique.
Yeah. I
And I'm
remember his
curious
drum
what its
machine.
reference is. Looks like we
Interesting.
got a shape generation. Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Whoa, are we line matting it up here? Bongs? I can't. The line mat is such an interesting addition.
I've been using it a ton. Yeah, actually, a lot of these pieces are coming together really cool. Like Aristotle works so far up there. That's like a really interesting. I wonder what its reference is, but oh, that is like really nice looking.
Oh.
The use of shadows there for that paper cut depth is really clever.
And it looks like he has a nice material on those objects as well, like giving them a little bit of grit and texture. Nothing too overpowering, but just like nice and subtle.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at
sometimes
this
I just get
little.
lazy and throw in some SSAO on that instead, but depth shaders work too.
That use of depth, this is like a kind of clever technique for getting that depth of field illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's looking really nice. And I think Patchy's was I saw some fight situation going on. Yeah, that's looking great.
That's more Dark Souls than anything.
I love this. That's Dark Souls 1, right? Or no,
Yeah.
was it Demon Souls? Demon Souls, that's the one.
Wait, so is he? I think that Patchy's doing a clever thing here where he's actually drawing things on paper, capturing that
Oh, wow.
with a webcam, and then doing a trace op to actually get the geometry that he wants. That's
Really
tricksy.
cool. And I love it when people bring kind of their analog like process into that digital space. I think that's super nice. Ben's WebGLOL up there, that Dr. Seuss situation is getting pretty trippy.
Oh, what?
And it's animated. And the sun, I think, is going to be a giant like emoji. I don't know which. I'm a boomer, so I don't know what emoji that's called, but that's going to be a good one.
Sun emoji.
Yeah, it's like I'm too hungry, please feed me emoji. I don't know what it is. You can tell my baldness is not by choice, but brought on by age a little bit. So there it is, And actually, if we can go into Daw's view here, because he's got the modulars as well. Now, I believe he's interfacing with his modulars over Max MSP, if I remember correctly. And he has a whole setup that's, Max MSP, TD Ableton, TouchDesigner, and he's been writing a lot of his own like custom code to make that interface tighter and like even faster than what you might get through TD Ableton. I think he said he's going to release that over the next little while, so that'll be pretty interesting to see as it comes out.
Wow, I feel like
That's
we were
cool.
just gone for a minute, and these have really changed.
Yeah, I wonder
Where's
what Benjamin
Benjamin?
is working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's zoom into that. That's looking interesting. Reference is Erica Anderson.
What's that?
Oh,
Some really clever
Interesting.
uses here of noise to create a little film grain on top.
that's a big one.
Nice.
It really helps make those renders seem a little less digital,
I really didn't believe one of my art instructors when they told me to like add some noise. We were like doing some After Effects animation. They're like, "This is good, but you need to put some noise on that." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "No, it's too crisp. Make it a little messier. It'll look better." It blew my mind. Like, no. Okay, all right.
Ooh.
Actually, let's zoom into Dylan's here. Dylan's got something really nice going on. I think he's got a little nice notepad for us that we can read. Oh, it's a
Oh,
Kandinsky.
Kandinsky.
Well, it's quite nice.
Oh, it's a nice like little bit of trail there. That's fun.
Yeah, I wonder, is that a NVIDIA Flow in there that's doing that? Or is it
Could be
just
the
all like...
optical flow. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
could be optical flow, eh?
Feedback with displays. That works.
This goes back to the 3 million ways to skin a cat on these things.
Oh, that's fun.
Harvey,
That was really
Harvey had something
good.
really cool. Yeah, Harvey's got a really nice like Refik inspired piece going on here too. I even like how he recreated the room situation.
Look at that reflection on the floor. Clever.
Ooh, that is nice.
Fake screen space.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this is, you know, like going back to my cheap tricks. You just take the render, you turn it upside down,
Yeah.
position it, fade it out a little bit, call it a reflection, you know, flip it on the
I
other
did
side.
that on my first previs too. I was like, yep.
It works,
That's a
and you can do the
reflection.
same for shadows. You know, if you just take the thing, you know, make it monochrome, make it dark, blur it out, boom, shadow.
Yeah.
I got my timer.
Look at what Lucas is up to.
Oh,
Jeez.
wow. That is looking.
All right.
I wonder if is that Bioshock? Like, is Bioshock the reference here? It's kind of got that underwater vibe.
Man.
Oh, he's using a lot of op fines. I like
Nice.
that.
He's really got that line
Composition
working.
coming in though, right?
Sorry, what was that, Joel?
His astronaut guy is just like a matted 2D comp, right? I don't know. He's doing some like
I
texture
know. I think,
rotating on it.
yeah, I think that's actually a
model?
3D asset. That's a model. Yeah.
I didn't see it earlier. I just saw the render output on the mat, and I was like, oh.
I would
Lucas has
guess it's a
done-
model just because there's so much 3D pipeline and infrastructure he's built. Would be my
Yeah.
guess that it's a model. Oh, Joseph is looking really nice. Oh yeah, it's a lot of shaders, a lot of noise. I wonder what the reference is. I'd love to see what the reference was.
Tanking his FPS a bit.
Woof.
The set it and forget it shaders, you know, like the ones where you don't want to change the variables a lot because it just tanks it. And actually, Dom's got something cool. He's using Ash Thorpe as his reference, which is really cool. I know Ash does like a lot of really cool 3D MoGraph, like these little like mini films. And I'm probably like oversimplifying and not representing his work correctly, but all the stuff I've seen has always been like really nice.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
like, what do we
close.
got? It's pretty nice, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
And Hello on Flow has a really cool thing and what I saw him doing was he's got his reference, but then it looks like he's able to auto-generate variations, which is pretty cool, like based on some rules.
Interesting.
That's a pretty clever thing. So he's not only made like the homage, but it's like he could just click the button and make like 100.
Yeah.
And
Those are
then
some
you
of my
sell them all
favorite systems.
as art prints. You know, you sell them as art
There you
prints on
go.
Etsy, call it a day. Let's actually zoom into
Ori's.
Olha's piece here. And we'll go to Ori's in a second, but I think Olha has some cool... She got a connector or similar situation coming in for depth.
Wow, these are really coming together here in the final stretch.
That's got almost like one of those, you know, like statues you would see, like a bust.
Hmm.
That's interesting. And Ori's really came together. Like last time we were here looking at his, we were wondering
There's
like
all the
what
difference like a shader makes, right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Whew. That is some nice rendering. Especially the audio lines, and the tube has come out really nice.
Nice depth of
That
field, a
molten
little bit of
glass look.
glow. Yeah.
Yeah. I want where'd the Sisyphus guy go though?
He's
Right there in the
There's
middle.
two of them.
Oh yeah, I see him. There he is.
He's got a friend.
But they're like
Oh,
all
he's got
pierced,
two.
right? Oh, they're pushing it. It looked like they were speared.
Oh, interesting. That's a cool little like that's a cool take, I think. That's a cool one. I like that a lot. A homage to the touch designer community.
Oh, interesting. He's
awesome.
got like a whole preset system he's using over there to switch between different looks, it looks like.
Yeah, I think he was mentioning earlier that he's using TD Morph by Darien, which is like a really cool system of setting up presets and being able to morph between them.
Nice.
You hear Ken Miller, they had a similar experience trying to figure out who came out on top on that. And I think if we're ready, we can go ahead and put up the points that were distributed for this challenge. Here we go, look at this. So this is the points specifically from this challenge. And actually, is this one? Let me double check real quick. Yes, this is just this challenge, confirmed. And we got Ori in first place, Ginger second, and Simon in third. And you know, actually Christopher was tied for third, Patchy was tied. I would say this one is a really hot one for me. Like, there was a lot of really crazy stuff going on. And Joel, I can hear already in your voice, you've got some opinions. What do you think, my friend? What do you see in here that is different from what you expected?
Well, I didn't think we would have so many ties for second.
Yeah, it's
Look
a
at
close
that.
running. I mean, like second, 16.6.
I mean,
third.
the range is that's so weird that how we all came to that. Like the range in terms of how
Yeah.
it was broken up, like that's actually pretty rare RNG there to see that exact 16.5 across the board in second place.
And that is an interesting one. And I think, like, you know, as we were going through this and looking at it, we were looking at just what was really consistent looking, what was beautiful looking, what kind of pushed our expectations. And I know for myself personally, like when I was looking at Ori's thing, you know, it really came together kind of in the home stretch where all of a sudden these beautiful materials came into play. The rendering just was really gorgeous and, you know, kind of really matched that sci-fi. And Matthew, like, what did you think of the top three standings we got here?
You know, I'm going to echo the same kind of. It's amazing to me that the second place is like this 1, 2, 3 person spread between 16.5 and 16.6. That is not a lot of space.
Yeah.
That is real tight. Whew. Tough competition today for sure.
That's cool.
I mean,
I loved watching it all come together in the last 5 minutes too. That was pretty cool.
And was there any personal favorite highlights that you guys had in there? I know for me, Ginger's piece was really cool, combining both the, you know, the synths she had and the kind of really nice graphics she had. You know, it felt like a really complete package that she kind of put together in such a short amount of time.
Michael McKellar's use of that flat style in 3D with a little bit of kind of play on those kind of compositional techniques, really clever, really fun look at how to achieve that kind of look.
And what about you, Joel? Was there any kind of personal favorite that you had in there?
I really liked I liked Ori's, of course, but the one connect I couldn't make with it is the audio input, if there was. That would have been really interesting to watch, like in sync and in time with the audio, that kind of thing, and then just have that as the whatever. But like, I mean, the camera at the end too is kind of what did it for me, because ultimately, I guess I was judging my points on their reference mainly to what they were doing. So he totally like had the palette thing, and many of the other artists too as well. Like, so I kind of looked at reference, looked at the thing, and then, you know, if you judged it from, like, say, a client side perspective, like, forget all the nodes, what was the output kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's a really interesting thing. Like, everything I saw here, as I was going through judging, I was like, oh yeah, if a client asked for this, they would be so happy. And if a client asked for this, oh God, they would be so happy. Like, I think all the competitors really nailed it out of the park on this one. So, Joel, aka deadmau5, I mean, what more can we say? Thank you for your time and energy coming on here, being a
Oh,
guest
no
judge.
problem.
We
Thanks
really-
for having me. This has been awesome to watch.
And with that said, we're going to transition now to a quick 5-minute break as we get ready for the next challenge.
Ooh, excited.
Dun dun dun.